Welcome to the Lost Together podcast. If you'd like to be featured in our Message in a Bottle segment at the end of an episode, please reach out to us at losttogetherpodcast@gmail.com or find our Facebook page, Lost Together Podcast. Thank you.
We're live.
Hello and welcome to the Lost Together podcast. I'm Joe, and this is my attempt to convince my wife, Morgan, that Lost is one of the greatest shows ever produced, acted in, and seen on TV. Today we're discussing episode 6 in the original run of the series called The Moth, which first aired on November 3rd, 2004. This is, we're really starting to get into it now, so there's a lot. The flashback thing is pretty well established, that you've got kind of a main storyline and then an off-the-island storyline from the past. So before we get into a recap, just what'd you think about this one?
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's funny because when you watch this, because we're watching it on Netflix, there's a couple of different ways you can watch it, but when you're watching on Netflix and you start the episode, it'll have the episode title down in the left-hand corner. And our typical cadence for this is we'll watch the episode and give Morgan some time to process it. She's not a react right after watching it kind of person. Needs a little bit of time to process. So we're watching it last night, and the title came up on the bottom of the screen. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I said... Oh, excuse me. I said, The Moth. This is about Charlie.
Yeah, but then what did you say? So how did they come up with the title?
I don't remember.
You said like a moth to a flame.
Oh, yeah, moth to a flame, yeah.
Which is funny because I never... I just didn't think about it like that. I don't know. I never really...
He's an addict.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought through that title of the episode. There's some episode titles from this run that are really on the nose. Like we talked about in the last one, What Kate Does. That's pretty straightforward. There's one from, I don't know if it's this season, but you've already heard me talk about it, so not a huge spoiler. But there's one called All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues, which it's like a Fall Out Boy song title or something.
Yes.
So... I'm amazed. They probably got sued by Fall Out Boy. They just got a hold of it whenever they're getting ready to release, and they were like, dang it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just get into a recap. Give us a recap of the episode, what you remember, and then we will discuss some topics related to the episode.
Yeah, so we learned that Charlie... I was actually surprised because I figured... I didn't see Charlie as, going to be the good guy or... deeply religious at all. That was a surprise because it opens with him doing a confession, in a church, and he's like, I gotta quit the band because he had an orgy and was confessing the orgy and was like, I gotta quit the band because I'm not living right, whatever. Literally in the church, his brother is there and he's like, we just got signed, we got a contract. So Charlie's like, well, I guess I will not be quitting the band. So then his brother ends up on drugs. And Charlie makes him promise before the drugs. He makes him promise, if I say we walk, we walk. Also, Charlie is, the one that wrote all the songs for Drive Shaft. And he's the heart of Drive Shaft. But his brother is the lead singer. So he's like, if I say we walk, we walk. If shit gets too crazy, we're done. And his brother's like, of course. And then next scene, his brother's doing heroin or whatever. And Charlie's like, we gotta quit. And his brother's like, you are literally nothing without this band. I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to because you're not going anywhere. So then Charlie does the drugs. Immediately does drugs. So we learn all that. And then I can't remember how it is that they split up, but you get the impression that time has passed because the brother is has a daughter and is in this really nice neighborhood with a really nice suit outfit, and Charlie looks like a drug addict and rolls up and goes, hey, Drive Shaft's gonna get back together, I need you. And his brother's like, I'm not doing that anymore, and it's really sad to see that you're still on drugs. And then Charlie was like, you did this to me. You made me this way. See you never. I got to go catch a plane. And then that's how he got on the plane. And then on the island, we've got Saeed and Kate and Boone trying to like triangulate, get an area so that they can use the transceiver, and that plan works. But then Saeed gets his ass knocked out completely by some unseen somebody. Jack gets caught in a cave-in, and Charlie has to go in and get him. Locke is holding Charlie's drugs, and he says, if you ask me for him 3 times, I'll give him to you, and I won't ask any questions. So Charlie ends up asking for the drugs back at the end of the episode, and then throws them in the fire. They're roasting a pig over the fire, and Charlie threw a whole bag of heroin in there. So I was like, heroin pig tonight, like, let's go. I don't know if that's how heroin works or not, but yeah, so that's it. And it's called the Moth because Locke shows Charlie a moth, like, cocoon on a branch, and he's like, that moth is in there struggling, hating its life. It has to get its way out of this cocoon. I could help it, but it'll die when it gets out because it's made strong by the struggle of getting out of the cocoon. What a metaphor for addiction. Yeah, so that's that. That's where we're at.
The moth metaphor, really, really heavy-handed. This was an episode that apparently at the time that it came out was pretty heavily criticized for the writing. And how they just really beat you over the head with that moth metaphor.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I liked it, though.
Yeah, I'm all for metaphor and, symbolism, and, I love that kind of thing. But, man, I mean, they maybe didn't need to show the moth 80 times,
Yeah, and didn't the moth, like, fly by at the end of the episode, like the moth made it out of the cocoon or whatever?
Well, not only that,
the decision to throw the drugs away.
Yeah, but don't forget that the moth is literally how Charlie figured out that they could dig their way out.
Yeah.
Because he saw a moth, which meant that it had got in from the outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which
he
I'm
saw
not
that.
entirely certain that makes sense. Because, like, what if the moth was already in the cave when the cave collapsed?
Yeah.
I mean, why does he think it definitely came in from the outside? I guess.
Well, I don't think that's how it went down. He was watching the moth fly around, and then he was like, I see light.
Yeah, I feel like I remember him deducing because there was a moth, they could get outside.
I don't know.
So a couple of side points about this episode. So there is a set of awards called the Prism Awards. You ever heard of them?
No.
So I hadn't heard of them either, but it stands for the premier recognition in the specialty of med-surg, i.e. medicine and surgery. So Prism Awards. So this episode, The Moth, the pilot, and House of the Rising Sun, the last episode that we reviewed, all together won a Prism Award for its portrayal of drug abuse in Charlie. Huh. So the Prism Awards specifically are about portrayals of drug use in television and movies.
So you can win an award if you can play a really, really good addict.
Well, Joaquin Phoenix won one for his portrayal of Johnny Cash in Walk the Line. If you've seen that, that's a pretty good one. Jamie Foxx for Ray.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, so just a couple there. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
And then this episode had 18.37 million, or 73 million viewers. I need to make a correction to earlier, too. This is actually episode 7, if I didn't correct that already. Not episode 6, which I said in the open. So, a quick connection there. I liked the flashback here, and I just wonder, and I don't know how much you know about him. Is Drive Shaft supposed to be Oasis? Like...
Oh, I don't know. Oasis did Wonderwall, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think it has to be Oasis?
Well, they're Liam and Noel Gallagher. They had a falling out. They're from Manchester, which those guys are from Manchester. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, but they make that clear later that it's Manchester specifically. But they say that they're
said that.
Yeah, they say they're touring Manchester, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But they don't specifically say that they're from Manchester, but they are. They're from Manchester.
Okay.
And so are Liam and Noel. I think I really don't want to upset anybody in the UK by getting this wrong, because it's apparently a huge problem to mistake Manchester and Liverpool, which are, a stone's throw away from each other, but apparently are bitter rivals in essentially everything. So it is apparently a gigantic problem to mess that up. So I'm very sorry if the Gallagher brothers are from one of those cities and not the other. But pop quiz, do you remember the name of Drive Shaft's hit song?
Everything All the Time, or Baby Everything, some shit like that. What was it? All of everything?
It actually... It kind of doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure.
No, it doesn't.
It's You All Everybody.
You all everybody.
You all everybody.
And that's all we hear of the whole
Yeah.
entire song. You all everybody. That's why you think it's Oasis, because the song was stupid.
Well, Wonderwall, this is true as well. Pretty sure it was Liam Gallagher that said if he had written Wonderwall before the Beatles wrote Hey Jude, Wonderwall would be a more famous song than Hey Jude.
That is definitely a statement. Wow.
Well, the Gallagher brothers are kind of known for that kind of thing.
Being
Just
bitches?
Arrogant. Oh, okay. Apparently, that was said that it was only because the Beatles wrote Hey Jude first that it's more famous. That
Okay.
Wonderwall is objectively a better
Everybody
song
knows
than Hey Jude.
Wonderwall, though. Everybody knows Wonderwall. Everybody knows Hey Jude. I think they're equally famous.
Oh, definitely not equally famous.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, they're not equally good.
No.
They may be equally famous. There's lots of stuff that's infamous that has as much notoriety. Like, for a couple of years there, that Friday song by Rebecca Black
Oh, my
was
God.
burning everybody's brain.
Yes. Yes.
I think if Rebecca Black had written Friday before Oasis wrote Wonderwall, it's
God.
only that Oasis wrote Wonderwall
That's what it is.
that made it more famous.
That's what it is. Yeah, and then Charlie gets all upset because his brother, what's his name?
Oh,
The brother?
That's a good question. So his brother's name is Liam.
Okay.
So Noel and Liam.
Why does it have to be one? Why are you trying to make it a real band?
They're Oasis, I'm telling you. Hold
Okay.
on. Anyway, so his brother's Liam, so go on.
Liam. So Liam is high as hell and sings "You All Everybody" the chorus, and apparently Charlie is supposed to sing the chorus, and Charlie gets all pissed off about it, which
Yeah.
I thought was,
Well, I mean, he wrote the song, and typically he's the one that sings the chorus.
Yeah.
But he's not singing and I'm not musically inclined. What do you call the rest of the song? That's
The
not
verses?
the chorus. Like the verses.
Yeah.
He doesn't sing anything but the chorus.
Right.
Typically.
Yeah.
So he took the one thing that was Charlie's to perform and just
You
sang it. And he
all
said the
everybody.
crowd wanted it. They could feel it.
Yeah,
And I don't know. Liam, kind of a dickhead.
definitely. I mean, he's a drug addict.
I think it's interesting that I don't know if it's a writing criticism as much as I just didn't feel like it was earned. But when toward the end of the episode, it's a different part of the flashback. So it's a flashback, but not as far back. Charlie's trying to get back on tour. He goes and sees Liam in Australia, which
Yeah.
is what brings him to Australia.
Yes,
Right.
to try to get him. He's like, the band's getting back
he's
together.
Like in a sweater and
Yeah,
wearing glasses, and he's like a suburbanite.
Yeah, no
dad
longer a
now.
drug addict.
Yeah, after a severe drug addiction, and he is just, suddenly all dignified and stuff, as if he, was not the cause of most of the problems that Charlie encountered in the beginning.
Sure, but I mean,
Charlie's his own man. I get he made his own choices and all
yeah.
that.
Well,
but-
and Liam doesn't have to always be a piece of shit or whatever because he had a drug addiction at one time.
No, not at all. I just mean I'm not criticizing the character. I'm criticizing the writing.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't long enough.
Yeah, they're
between-
you walk up and they're watering the lawn with a sprinkler, and he's out
Yeah.
there with this beautiful blonde-headed little girl, and
Yeah, good for him for getting off the hard stuff, right? But bad for me as a viewer of the show.
Yeah, I'm
who's
with you.
just watching the show, and it kind of takes me out of it a little bit to see him
and he's got glasses now.
Exactly. Why the glasses is just like a symbol of I'm definitely a suburbanite now.
Well,
Look at
I
me.
thought that was more of a showing you time has passed.
Yeah,
situation.
age,
Yeah, he can't see good anymore.
Yeah. I can't see well. I'll tell you that.
No,
I'm
you cannot.
over here.
You need glasses.
Yeah, I am trying to look at these notes at the same time as talk, and so if I'm a little If I'm stammering a little bit, if I've got a little bit of a delay, that is because I'm trying to read and pressing my nose into my phone.
I don't know why you don't just go to the doctor.
I am going to the doctor, but I have a tour to go on first in Manchester. So, a couple of things. I had some questions for you about this episode. So, we breezed right over it. The triangulation, right? So, triangulation thing, Saeed's trying to do that. What was Shannon talking to the girl about on the beach? Because Boone ran away to help.
Something about like, oh, the guys in Greece are so much better, or something like that.
Yeah, something really like. What is your take on Shannon so far? Because I feel like most of the characters have pretty demonstrated redeemable qualities, even if it's only one or two. Shannon doesn't really have any redeemable qualities, and so is that like an anti-feminist character or something, that she just literally is a caricature of, bimbos or whatever?
Femininity.
Femininity, I think, is technically.
Yeah, whatever.
There's an M&M in there.
She, I'm hoping that she becomes a developed character at some point, because up to now, she's just supposed to be the hateable, spoiled, pretty girl. Yeah. Like, she's useless. She's got a shitty little attitude all the time. Her and her brother are just like complete, total opposites. So I hope that she, at some point, gets it together. Because she's out there sunbathing with that girl when she has to go light the bottle rocket thing.
Right.
She's like not doing anything ever.
I was just curious because she's, until you get a little further in, she's a pretty empty
She is.
Character.
Literally. But I think that's supposed to be part of it. Like, she's just a vapid, spoiled little rich girl.
Think how spoiled you have to be in the situation that she's in and still be spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't dawned on you yet that, like, would it be the same if this was a zombie apocalypse TV show? She's just, like, sitting around painting her toenails if she's on The Walking Dead or whatever, and there's walkers banging on the door.
Probably not.
And she's like, somebody else will take care of that or whatever.
Yeah.
But about the triangulation thing, so, Sawyer is going to help Saeed and Kate, ends up staying with Kate. Saeed
insinuates that he's going to rape Kate.
That
Sawyer is going to rape Kate. Yeah.
I don't trust him with you.
Yeah.
Right? Well, actually, I definitely got that. Right? But, like, Sawyer also kind of needles Kate before they get going about her breakup from Jack, and then calls Saeed Captain Falafel or whatever, and insinuates that Saeed's her new boyfriend.
Yes.
And then Saeed says, I don't trust him with you. And then he makes like a face, which I think is not super appropriate for insinuating that Sawyer's going to sexually assault Kate.
Well, that's because Kate's like, I can handle him. So he goes like,
Yeah, but I thought the was while he said, I don't trust him with you. Right? And I thought it was like, I bet if I played it back, my problem with it is that I think it is that he's suggesting. But the face didn't match to me. And I hate to nitpick like that, but it seemed kind of flirty a little bit. Like he was saying, I just don't want to leave you alone with him because I want to be alone with you. Like, that's more how I read it.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, like, to this point, there's been really no romantic tension at all between Saeed and Kate. It's just that Sawyer has insinuated that there's one after Sawyer called Saeed Captain Falafel.
Well, I mean, that's his thing, though, is just to be like a disruptor. He just likes to upset people.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of all that, I only asked about the triangulation to get to Saeed getting cracked on the head with a branch whenever he gets a signal.
Yeah, full blackout.
Right. So what's going on with that?
Well, I don't know.
And so just to talk about it a little bit, because it's a big moment in the episode. Because, they had gotten, before when they got the signal, they were hearing the French. But when they get the signal this time, no French. So he has found a different frequency.
Yeah,
To get out on.
I figured that was what it was, or that it just didn't have time to pick up the French lady. I don't know. I don't know enough about communication to know what the hell's going on.
Well, so if you think about it, like if you had walkie-talkies, right, and let's say there were 4 walkie-talkies
Channels.
in the house, yeah, channels. So they could only get one channel before. He got a different channel, so it was an open channel.
Cool.
Nobody was talking, but it was an open channel.
Yeah.
So ostensibly, if he could get the message out, somebody could hear him and come rescue.
Yeah,
right?
I bet the French lady thought that too.
Well, but the French lady and that's a whole other thing. I think we talked about it in the episode where they discovered it, but how is that playing?
No idea.
Over and over, right? And then also, he's found an open channel. He didn't just get cracked in the back of the head.
He got fully knocked out.
He got fully knocked out, and whoever knocked him out destroyed the transceiver.
Oh, damn it. I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
Is it broken?
So, well, he says it to Kate. He says they destroyed the transceiver or whatever. So, transceiver's broken. They successfully triangulated, but the transceiver is now broken.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, I mean...
I don't know. Maybe he can build another one.
Well, yeah, I get that. I'm asking, what do you think's going on? Who cracked him in the back of the head?
It could be anybody. I mean, it could literally be anybody. Most of the people were at the cave trying to help Jack get out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it wasn't Hurley or Locke. Maybe it was Locke. Locke was out hunting the pig. He was gone hunting the pig.
Was the pig? I thought this was... No, because he was skinning the pig the whole episode.
No.
Yeah, because he was skinning it when
Charlie asked for the drugs, but him and Charlie were out in the woods trying to catch the pig, remember?
which he caught in the net.
Right.
In the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Charlie left. Locke could have, it didn't take all day to skin a pig.
Yeah, well, there's more than one way to skin a pig, is what I've heard.
Oh,
Maybe
my
he
God.
got the really fast way. Don't know. All right, so that was really the only question I had about the triangulation. Just curious your thoughts about maybe what's going on with who cracked Saeed on the noggin.
I hope it wasn't Sawyer. But Sawyer lit off his thing, and they're pretty far apart, so I don't think he would have had time, even if he was running full force, to get from his spot to Saeed's spot to knock him out.
We're talking miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was another polar bear.
Are you certain that, it's... I mean, is there any characters that you don't remember being at the cave that...
No. The Korean people were there. Sun and Jin were there.
What about the monster thing?
I don't know where the monster was. Not in the cave, obviously.
No, but I mean, it's...
Yeah, they've not heard it. In that last episode, they didn't hear it at all, I don't think.
Yeah, I just meant maybe the monster somehow was involved in cracking Sawyer or Saeed in the back of the head, rather.
No, a person did that. That was person height.
Person height.
Yeah.
Looked like a downward swing to me.
No, it was level.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying all that as if I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I know.
Cracked him in the back of the head. All right. Any other thoughts about the episode?
I'm trying to think of who all was at the cave. Hurley was there. Michael was there.
Was Michael there?
Yeah, he was helping. He was.
Well, he set it in motion and then he walked away from it, right?
But he was there when it collapsed.
Okay.
Again, like the second time or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I think a way to think about it would be like this, because the group is still separate, with some people on the beach and some people in the cave, right?
Right. But the only people of import that stayed on the beach were Jack, Kate, Sawyer, and Saeed.
Okay.
And Shannon and Boone, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and then I guess a more important question would be, why would somebody smack him in the back of the head when he's getting ready to radio off the island?
Well, obviously they don't want him to be radioing off the island, which is why I thought maybe it was Locke, because he does not want to lose the use of his legs again.
Fair, but if somebody came to... That doesn't quite make sense to me, because if somebody came to rescue them and Locke wanted to stay on the island, couldn't he just stay?
Why would he do that? He's a sage now. Like, and he's like a big tough man, and all these people need him. Nobody needed him.
So you're saying he wants to not only for him to stay on the island, but for all of them to stay on the
Yeah,
island?
yeah,
Okay.
he's with it.
All right. All right, so now we come to the portion of the show where we get your predictions for the next episode, and just for because I think it's fair, it gives you a fighting chance for me to tell you the name of the episode and who the episode's about.
Okay.
So the next episode, I want to make sure I get the title right, is entitled "Confidence Man." Mm-hmm. Okay, and the central character in the flashbacks is Sawyer.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to get my feelings hurt. I feel really bad for Sawyer. I think that he is a deeply wounded man. I know people like Sawyer, and he...
Who do you know like Sawyer?
I don't want to name any names, but I know
Well,
people...
I can't wait to hear that when the recording stops.
I've met people like Sawyer, know people like Sawyer, and like you're not actually some big badass like you try to pretend like you are. You are afraid and sad on the inside. So you act like a dick so that nobody wants to get close to you, even though you deeply want people to be close to you.
So do you know what a confidence man is?
Based on the words that you just said, it's about like a person who's confident.
Shorten the word confidence.
Confined?
What's the first part?
Confide?
Con.
Oh.
Con man.
Okay.
Just as a matter of fact, a confidence trick or a confidence scheme is literally like what con men do.
Oh,
So
like magic tricks.
No. Like you ever heard of a pigeon drop?
No.
So it's like where you are walking down the street and a guy walks up next to you and sees like an envelope on the ground, and he picks it up and hands it to you and says like, "Hey, is this yours?" Right? And then you open it up and it's got a ton of money in it, just like a bunch of cash. And you go, "No, it's not mine." And he goes like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, that's a lot of money." And he's like, "I'll hold on to it." And then you go, "Well, no, right? Because you've just been handed an envelope full of money, and so now you think this other person's going to take it." So you go like, "No, I'm going to hold on to it because you don't intend to take the money, probably at first. Maybe you do, but
Absolutely, I do. Are you joking?
you would never, unless you were just standing in the middle of a forest or something. You would not just pick up an envelope, absolutely chock full of cash, and walk away with it. I know you better than that.
If I was in a big city or there was
Yeah.
some like, I'm not going to leave it there.
No, if there was a building anywhere in sight, your conscience would never allow you to keep that envelope because
I would feel bad about it, but I would take it though.
So anyway, then he goes, he kind of convinces you like, all right, to make sure that neither of us is gonna take this money, let's each put some of our own money into it, and then I'll take blah blah blah. And between all that switching back and forth, you end up just losing a bunch of money, and then all of a sudden that person's gone. So it's like gaining your confidence
Yeah.
to get your money,
Okay.
essentially. So a con. Like
Sure.
running a con. So that's what a con man is.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I know what a con man
or
is.
using yeah, but people also use it for convict. Like,
Oh, no, nobody does. Nobody says that.
yeah,
They don't say, there goes a con man. They say, like, he's a con.
So that's what a confidence man is. So, predictions about the next episode.
I think that there may be some, like, change of scenery. I'm not sure that Jack's feeling super great about the cave, maybe, since he almost died in there. Maybe Kate will stop being such a dick because she thought he was dead too, and obviously she was very upset about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to get some backstory on Sawyer. That's...
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, backstory on Sawyer.
Oh, I think that Saeed is going to 100% think that Sawyer's the one that cracked him in the head.
Okay, and what will be the result of that?
Oh, they'll be fighting again.
Okay, so I will give you, again, out of 50, the backstory on Sawyer is 42.
Is he's a criminal, I assume but it's like low time criminal, like he like robbed a gas station or something. Like,
anyway, and then 42 also on the conflict between
Said and Sawyer.
But it's not a perfect 50. So, it's a 42.
Okay.
And then lastly, what the fuck is going on? So, bigger picture stuff about the island. We've now got, like, people are magically walking after they were paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, Charlie's guitar survived the crash too. Like, it's one thing, I guess, for humans to survive it if you crash into water. But, like,
it was in a hard case.
Yeah. I feel like if we dropped a guitar case from the top of a building, it would probably shatter.
No. We got wet mummies.
Wet mummies,
yeah. I mean, there's obviously some weirdness going on this island, but I have absolutely no idea what it is.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or commentary?
Nope. I'm ready to watch the next one.
Well, no messages in a bottle this week. No messages for us to go over, but if you're interested in being featured in this segment on another episode, please reach out to us at losttogetherpodcast@gmail.com.